Hi, everybody. I'm Jeff Barton, and welcome to the Mortgage Minute. I want to get right to it. It is Friday. It is a interesting week in that how do I pronounce it? Omicron came into the market and has really unsettled or tipped upside down some of the ways we were thinking about both inflation as well as the rates. What we're looking to do is try to understand why the 10-year is going the way it's going, and one of the reasons, of course, is Omicron. But let's get right to some of the other things. That the 30-year fixed rate loan is at 3.21. The 15 is at 2.57. 2.88 is FHA. 3.13 is the jumbo. And, of course, the 5-1 ARM is at 3. And as I said, the 10-year yield is at 1.36. Now, about a week ago, it was up to almost 1.7. One of the main reasons is Omicron. I think I've got that right. And the reason that Omicron has the treasuries or the 10-year yield going down is because most people around the world look for a safe harbor or safe haven when exactly unexpected economic news, weather news, this particular virus news comes out. So the flight to U.S. Treasuries, that's what happened, and that drove the price down, and it also the yield down, and that may continue for a while until we get a handle on what Omicron really is or what it really isn't. We do hear from Moderna and Pfizer that they're both working on vaccines for this particular strain. I don't know if that means another shot is imminent or we just don't know. Jobs report, disappointing. 210,000 added instead of 550,000 added. And in that number, I guess there were some interesting items that were within the jobs report, but in general, most people look at the jobs report as a number by which we are to effectively get people back to work, whether it's through incentive, through higher wages, or through better working conditions. That didn't happen this month as much as it did last month. Last month, as everyone knows, was about 546,000 jobs added. The rate fell, however, to 4.2%. Now, this reflects not only the number of people that have come back to work, but it also reflects the number of people who have stopped looking for work. There are still millions of people who need a job and still millions of people who are needed. Those two numbers trying to bridge the gap and trying to figure out why. There's a ton of information out there on the left and right side as to why things happen the way they happen, but those are the numbers straightforward. The faster taper, yes, inflation has become the number one issue for the Fed, and they will aggressively pursue taper. Some of the Fed governors really would like to see taper happen more quickly, and I think we touched upon it both on the radio show and earlier in this week on this particular program. They probably want to end this in April rather than June, and also raise rates at least one time next year. But again, we'll wait and see what happens with the worldwide recovery. Lots of things going on both here in the U.S. and in China, the two main driving forces in the world economy. And again, we're just going to have to wait and see. It is that season of the year where things do slow down. People tend to want to stay home, and it gets colder here in the U.S., and they tend to want to spend their time in the holiday season. A lot of people in the U.S., although wanting to buy, have gone out already and purchased. So we'll have to wait and see what the purchasing report says at the end of December to see if, in fact, we've got more people buying than we already had this year in what we have in terms of buying for the Christmas holidays. There are several different people who contribute to this program. Market Watch is one of them, Wall Street Journal, Barron's, Mortgage News Daily, Yahoo Finance, and Housing Wire. I often don't give them enough props. Obviously, there's information to accumulate by myself or the people who are working for me. And then to present it out to you as a fact from me, well, it's not. It's from all these sources. I'm just sort of putting together what I think is important. Omicron sends the 10-year lower. We did talk about that. Oh, yeah, Zillow sold half of their iBuying inventory. The iBuying dynamic has been picked up by a number of other different companies, but Zillow is out, as everyone knows, and they've sold half their inventory. They had 18,000 houses that they bought. They sold 9,800, and they definitely want to sell the rest, and they want to sell it obviously in bulk, not one at a time. They just don't want to do that. That's not good for the market, because what happens is when investors buy, they tend to hold rather than resell on the market. We got enough problems with not enough housing. we really need more housing, and this is not a good sign. I think Zillow should be made to sell them one at a time, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, that's it for this week. Sorry about the disjointedness of it, but the information is there if you sift through it. I'm Jeff Barton. This is the Mortgage Minute, and we'll see you next time.